Don't you fuck with Nina Ross. Don't you fuck with Nina Ross. That bitch, she burning, man. 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 She got her sister 45 and the brother Saturday night. They be always running tight, and they bound to start a fight, them bitch. Welcome back to another edition of Clickbait Media. If this your first time here, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so whenever I post, you will know that I am here. Now, in this video right here, we're going to show this doctor from Miami that is racially profiled by Miami police who says he was stopped for suspicions of littering. Now, let me mind you, this man was a doctor. He was stopped in front of his house, asked what he was doing there, did he have any type of ID, and on top of that, he aroused up suspicions that he was littering. When asked about his take in the matter, Dr. Armen Henderson had this to say.
Yes, he said I should call him sir or sergeant when I'm talking to him, and when my wife came out and actually said, why do you have my husband in handcuffs? The officer basically said, well, because he has an attitude with me. And I was just like, oh, okay. In my head, I said that. And, my wife basically was able to say, okay, well, I can get my ID. She got it, and he basically let me go. So in the car, he basically was trying to figure out or asking me what I was doing there, why was I here, and I live in a predominantly Cuban neighborhood. My family is it is the only black family that lives on the block. So I think that so I mean, I don't know, he was saying a lot, and it was, his body language was just very aggressive, and when he got out of the car, I was more focused on trying to de-escalate the situation, trying to walk away and gather myself so that I wouldn't respond in a different way than I actually did.
So basically what this brother is saying, as soon as the cop pulled up on him, he was already a suspect, because the cop began to start asking him questions, so I started suspecting him of littering, which gave him a cause to allegedly get out of the car and continue to initiate an investigation. And on top of that, he demanded to be called sir. Wow. He didn't have a mask on, and he didn't have gloves on. And now you're out in this man's face spitting. Coronavirus! Now, when asked did he ever bring up social distancing to the cop, this is what he had to say.
No, I didn't. I mean, at that point, he already escalated it to a point. I mean, I was already in handcuffs, so what more can I say at that point? I was just focusing on keeping my mouth shut and hoping that my wife would come out, as soon as possible.
So the Miami police chief released a statement, and this was basically because this video started to gain a lot of public attention. But he's basically going to be defending why the police stopped him. And I'm going to show you this clip right now.
Hello, my name is George Kalina, and I'm the Chief of Police with the City of Miami Police Department. Let me start by saying that the City of Miami Police Department does not condone or accept profiling of any kind. I'm making that statement because we've been made aware of a video that's been circulating of an encounter that occurred on Friday, April the 10th in the Flagami neighborhood. This encounter involves a City of Miami police sergeant who stops in front of a home of one of the residents in Flagami. Many of the questions that have been asked are, why did this encounter occur? And so I just want to provide a little bit of context of what was going on here. We have had a litany of complaints pertaining to illegal dumping. The commissioner from that area has received many complaints as well from the constituents. There is a cargo van that's parked in front of that home where there appears to be trash that's being offloaded. That is the genesis of the stop. Now, what happens after that, what's being discussed, the actions taken, etc., all that needs to be investigated, and it will be investigated. But I thought it was important that I share with the residents of Miami that, number one, we're aware of the video, this will be investigated fully, and this is the context of the stop because many questions have been asked. I hope this helps, and as soon as we have more information and we have the ability to forward that information to you, we will. Thank you. Thank you.
So basically he's saying the stop was for illegal dumping. They've been having a litany of complaints. And the constituents been complaining too. So basically, they've been having a lot of calls about complaints to the police. And the residents, the people that stay around, have been complaining. Why didn't you just say that litany and whatever, trying to use these big words? But our action is we don't believe you. If they've been having complaints, that somebody would have called if they suspected him of doing it. Why you didn't get a call? You just suspected somebody of doing that. That was already profiling there from the door. You suspected somebody for dumping. You had no complaints. And this is what he had to say when he was asked, did he think it was because of his mask? Or was it profiling?
Potentially, I don't know. You know, I don't really know what his motives are. As I stated earlier, you know, and it's apparent on the video is that he rode down the street very, very slow, and then turned back around to turn down my street to approach me. So it could have been the mask. It could have been the fact that I was black. It could have been both. And so I know for a fact that it likely was not due to the fact that he said I was, you know, littering.
Now this just shows, even during a pandemic, that we still are considered not shit. Nothing. Now, this officer clearly was in the wrong. And they're wanting to try to cover it up. They're wanting to not apologize. And this brother is actually demanding an apology. And this is what he had to say. He said they have not apologized to him at all. You ain't got to take it from my word. I let him tell you.
So the Miami Police Department has not called me to apologize. I do think that he should be held accountable for his actions. He violated a bunch of protocols, not only as a sergeant, but also as a police officer. I think that they're supposed to be wearing, you know, bracelets that say that they've been tested. He was supposed to have a mask on. You know, he probably should not have stopped me in the first place. So I just want him held accountable for his actions, and I want an apology as well.
Alright, so now this next clip is gonna be for all those who gonna come around and say, well, it looks like a drug van, or he looks like he was doing anything suspicious. It was more likely probable cause to stop. You know, he could have been doing anything. Well, this next clip is actually gonna show you and to prove to you that this man is a doctor and what he does.
Right. So the homeless population in Miami is it's a large population, and basically because we live in Miami and we are at the helm of climate change, we have a crisis situation every year during hurricane season, which is June through November. And so, you know, what we've seen in the past is that not only just with homeless people, but also with vulnerable populations, those who are working class, low income, live in poverty, and particularly in the black neighborhoods throughout Miami-Dade County, we've seen that there's a disparate response when it comes to crisis situations during hurricane season. And so during Hurricane Irma, we found that, you know, FEMA and the government were saying one thing on TV, but in reality, people on the ground weren't being fed, they weren't getting water, their electricity was taking weeks to come back on, and people who depended on these things to actually live, oxygen and, you know, dialysis, were not getting the things that they needed. And so it really took a coalition of organizations to step in and actually be, you know, to take the place of, or to step in where the government was not. And so usually we activate during hurricane season, but during the pandemic, we actually decided to activate as well. And during this time, we actually decided to focus on unhoused people, because we know that when you're asking people to shelter in place, houseless people they can't put tents outside because police are harassing them. So not only are police harassing me outside of my house, but they're also harassing homeless people. They don't allow them to put up tents, and we're not allowed to feed homeless people on the street, etc. So we've been going out as an act of civil disobedience to feed the homeless, to provide them with socks and toiletries and sanitizer and masks, because during a public health crisis like this, the homeless population should be the population that you pay the most attention to. And the county organizations that are supposed to protect and provide for these organizations just are not doing enough, and much of anything at all.
So this man is out during the pandemic, helping the homeless. A doctor out helping. They out there setting up tents and doing all kind of things. And he's getting racially profiled. Not just profiled just because of his color. He's being profiled because he's being suspected of littering. It don't even fucking matter. He was profiled. 9 times out of 10, if it was a white guy there, he'd have rolled right past him. You seen a black guy with a mask on. Yeah. If he hit a block, you seen him. He's still out there, so you wants to roll up on him. You caught him by the road, so now you can ask a few questions. Because if he wasn't out by the road, you'd have had to ride by again. But just so happened you caught him by the road. That's what got you your initiation. I talk now. What are you doing? Man, come on. Brother should have just walked away from him. Shouldn't have answered or said nothing. He ain't had time to talk. He ain't had no reason to stop. He ain't had no suspicions of littering. He just seen him out there and say he suspected. Man, come on. You gotta come better than that. We getting tired of this shit. We getting tired of this shit. And there's gonna be people out there that's gonna stick up for the cop. Alright, what you gonna say when it's you? We getting tired of it. But let me know what y'all think. That'll do it for me. I'm your host, Rob Caesar, baby. This is Clickbait Media. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment below. And I'm up out of here. Peace.
Don't you fuck with Nina Ross. Don't you fuck with Nina Ross. That bitch, she burning, man. 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 She got her sister 45 and the brother Saturday night. They be always running tight, and they bound to start a